I have, with some business partners, an organisation called Horse Sanity. And that is an interesting term in its own right, so it may be useful for me to explain that. But first of all, let me tell you what Horse Sanity is about. And it's essentially in the systemic leadership space. So we're systemic leadership advisors. So we liberate leadership within an organisation through systemic thinking. So if you think about the speakers that we were listening to this morning, there was a lot of conversation around what the individual can do in that kind of environment, and the opportunity to stand still and let things come, and also be able to then go into a deeper inquiry about yourself and your shadow side and embrace that shadow side. And then there was also the polarity of the organisation or the system in which that individual can operate, or the container that was being used and talked about a lot as well. Yeah. So in isolation, none of those things can work as effectively. So I think today was really beautifully demonstrating what can be done at the individual level and what can be done to get a container working. And the whole sense of the unity and the connectiveness of all of that picture, I think, was a very useful message today that I was able to kind of reflect on in the space that we work. As a TLC consultant, I'm certified in using these tools, and that allows us to go into an organisation and work with these tools to help the organisation have a look at in the context of their purpose. So what is this organisation all about? Truly, why are we here? To look at, well, what's the culture within that organisation, the leadership culture, to support then the individuals within that system to be high performing, so that it's not one or the other. It's how all of that works. The kind of the individual, the kind of the me, then the you, and then the greater environment in which we operate. So all of those things need to be examined, the shadow side embraced, so that collectively can be looked at in terms of this whole idea of transformation, both as an individual and as an organisation. And what we do a little differently to others is that we use a really old system as a metaphor, and that is horses. Horses have a magic about them, and they have a very well-defined system of leadership, of how, because they're like us, they like to be safe, they like to have a sense of belonging, they like security. And so we can learn from how they do that. And if you think about the whole heart-brain conversation that was going on, that's where they come from. They don't have this mind-brain that they bring in. Their communication's all through their body. So it allows us, when we work with horses, to bring that other part of ourselves into the picture. So we can look at how they communicate, how they organise themselves as a system. The other part of that is what was the word again?
Box jumper.
Box jumper. Yes, the role of the box jumper, because what a horse will do is tell you the truth. They may not use words in telling you the truth, but they will use their brain in their heart to read you. And they will read, are you being authentic? Are you being vulnerable? Are you what you look like you are? Do they get a sense of, are you actually really authentic in this space?
Are you true to you?
And they'll mirror back to you. And if you are not being authentic, they don't want you to be around, because you may not be safe to be around. You may not want to be a part of my herd. So when the lions come over the hill, you haven't got your stuff together, I don't want you around. So I'll move you out. If, on the other hand, you are safe to be around, and I do get you've got your stuff together, whether it's that you're sad or happy or whatever you are, you've got it together and you're being vulnerable within that, but certainly authentic within that. They'll want you to be there with them.
And that's what you bring in your work is bringing authenticity and truth to leaders and to how they lead.
And we talk about untethering leadership, because if you're trying to do it without doing all of those things, without coming from authenticity, without coming from a sense of vulnerability as well, without coming from a sense of truth, then the leadership's contained. And the organisation is constricted. And then you get people that are kind of disengaged. They're kind of there, but they're not there, which is the kind of the soul pollution that was being talked about this morning. Yeah.